Hey guys, Gabe from the Disciples here, and today we're going to do the first of a series of 3 videos. We're going to be going over the new Dune cards. So with me today I have Marcus and Sam.
No.
Uh, yeah, we're going to be splitting this in 3 bits. We're going to be covering Rescue Ace first. So this one's a bit different because we're not going to only go over the new Rescue Ace cards. We're also going to go over the old ones because no one has read them. Deck has made some success in the OCG, and yeah, I'm excited to learn more about it. Do you guys have any familiarity with them?
I haven't read much of the cards. I remember people telling me it was doing well in the OCG, and I skimmed read maybe a few, and it looked like the deck were everything searched everything, but I don't think I read any effect that was absurdly oppressive. That's I haven't looked too deep into the deck. I just saw it was doing well in OCG.
Yeah, I've just had people say Rescue Ace are amazing, and I've watched 1 or 2 videos on it, but not really fully up to date with how it works.
So I think in preparation for the next season, it's good to start getting familiar with those cards. Big shout outs to James for putting up the deck together and some deck lists and some replays for us. He can't be here, but he actually knows. He knows what he's talking about. We are just learning from him. But yeah, let's get right into it. So there's only actually 2 new cards, so everything that doesn't have OCG in this deck list is actually out right now, but those 2 new ones change a lot. This one's the main monster of the deck, which is Hydrant. I'm slightly familiar with the cards, so I'll kind of go through them. While you have another monster that's not Hydrant, your opponent can't target this card for attack or card effects. So if you have any other guy, they can't Veil or Imp or Mourner this. Uh, and once per turn, you can add a Rescue Ace monster from your deck to your hand. So basically Stratos, not on summon. And it has a cool effect that you can use once per turn you can use a quick play spell or trap that was set the same turn. So the deck has this mechanic of cards that set those spells and traps from the deck. So if you have Hydrant, those spells have bonus effects, and it allows you to activate one of them at the same turn they're set. So most of the plays gravitate around this card. I think this card really really rose in price lately.
Yeah, I heard that all the Rescue Ace stuff started spiking over the last week or two as well.
Yeah, this came out in the Mikanko set, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy. That set randomly became good. Airlifter, on normal or special, you can add a rescue spell from a deck to your hand, and then when your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, you can tribute this card and special summon a rescue from your hand. So again, another card that generates advantage. This card reads well to me.
Hmm.
What? Wait, sorry, did I miss an effect? So it negates. It doesn't negate a
It
monster
doesn't
effect.
negate.
No. It's like when they activate, you can tribute to summon a guy.
Okay, but it adds a spell when it's special and normal, so I guess
Yeah,
it's
Yeah,
equal.
so I think you just
yeah,
have it on field, and then it gives. I'm assuming other ones will have effects when they're summoned, and then this allows you to trigger them on your opponent's turn and go off basically.
Fair enough.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I think this is the one way to search the field spell.
Mm.
Okay.
Which we need to go through.
I
Because
think
the
it's
other
got.
cards.
I think it's got a good like attribute and type because like Fire Warrior means you can search off Durandal. So
Oh
if
yeah.
you wanted to play more copies of it, like you have the option to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I actually didn't clock the firewall here. Good catch. I think there are different types. They have like fire warriors and fire machines. I think yeah, you have like the guys and you have the
The
machines.
firefighters, then the equipments.
There you go. That's a better way to put it. Monitor. I think this one sucks. Uh, it's the same card as Airlifter, but it's almost from Grave instead. And when it's normal or special, it's just a trap instead of a spell.
Depends how good the traps are.
Mm.
Yeah, I think the idea. I think Airlifter search is a spell that allows you to start playing. I think the traps are kind of shit. But again, this card is also good. Also during those stats. Yeah, I mean, all the cards generate advantage. Is something good when you read them at first glance.
Mm.
This card is very good. Okay, I've read this one before. Impose. So on the field, main phase, you can choose one monster opponent controls that has the highest attack, and they can't activate its effect. So it's kind of like Dragonmaid Larper. So it kind of forces a negate. But that's not the reason this card's good. The real one is that it's actually a hand trap. So when your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, you can tribute this card from your hand or field, and then special summon a machine rescue Ace from your deck.
Okay. Have to
So
decide.
That is pretty good.
And one of them is a Book of Moon.
Oh, we love Book of Moon effects.
We do.
We do, and like in-engine hand traps are famously good, right?
Wow.
Because if your card can be a starter or a hand trap, it's like Hoven is, right?
But the thing is, though, I always felt like with maybe this card might be a bit different. If the most impact is the Book of Moon, you can kind of maybe play around it. If you maybe if you know against Rescue Ace, you might have the option to play around it, and maybe it's not as effective.
Yeah, because it also has to. You can just do it out of nowhere. You have to use it after they use a monster effect on the field.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely counterplay, and that's why it's important to know the cards. Because I mean, first time I played against this, I didn't know they had a Book of Moon. The guy just summoned the guy, booked my guy. I was like, oh, that happens. Yeah, this is another of this one of the machines. This so Impulse and Fire Attacker were an engine in the OCG before these new cards came out, because Fire Attacker, if Rescue is normal or special, you can special on this guy, and then if your opponent adds a card to your hand, to their hand except by drawing, so the Dark Claw thing, you can draw 2 cards and discard one. So people played Impulse and Fire Attacker non-rescue ace decks as like a Phantasme kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
tier, like consider playing this for a while, because the idea is like, yeah, you summon this and then you can draw 2, you pitch a tier.
Seems
I don't
like
know
a
if
cool small engine. Like if you're against decks that have monster effects that search a lot.
yeah. Also, if it's like you can gain value from this discard, right? Or you can gain value from this body, because they're level 6, so you can make Beatrice, can make stuff like that.
I guess
Uh,
when we're going into Pearly format, well, not Pearly format, when Pearly probably might get more popular post Dune, I guess these cards might be better. Because one thing when I was reading them, I thought they might be a bit too situational, but
mhm.
if Pearly's going to be one of the most popular decks in June.
Yeah. Impulse is the kind of card that really reads well. Like, it's very hard then to print new hand traps, right? So you have those random hand traps that are situationally good in different formats. Things like Skullmeister and Gizmek Uka and stuff like that. Impulse can kind of has potential to become one of those.
hmm
There might be a format that maybe this Impulse summoning a book or summoning a draw 2 is crazy.
Yeah, I mean it does read pretty well as like a card that could just be thrown into various decks, like you said with tier at some point if a format suits it. But
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Then Fire Engine. I think the machines have this thing that if a rescue ace is armor special, you can special summon this card from your hand. If a monster special summons your opponent's field, you can special summon a level 4 or lower rescue ace from your hand, deck, or grave.
See, this card effect probably seems like it comes up. The second effect probably comes up more than attacker.
Yeah, I guess, because like in theory, like you could impulse summon this, right? And then this can summon one of the small guys.
Yeah,
They can
yeah,
like summon Hydrant, and I guess cool things like if you summon Hydrant, they can't target the Hydrant because you have the other guy.
that's cool.
There's some synergy there.
The only thing that comes up, like I'm thinking of, is like how valuable is the special summon a level 4 on my opponent's turn? Because like if I'm searching one of the guys, especially one of the guys that searches spell or trap, I can't do anything with the spell and trap for that turn. That's the only maybe
Yeah, I
there's
guess.
like a rescue ace I'm missing.
No, those are all of the small ones. But I guess the cool thing is that if you summon one of the ones that search, they also have that effect to tag out, that they tribute and summon one from hand. So
Yeah,
I guess if you gain the advantage that way, and then you summon one of the big ones.
it seems like it snowballs pretty well if you see the right cards at the moment. But
Yeah, this one is a crazy one. So Turbulence, has like that Tyranno summoning condition, banish to rescue ace cards, not monsters. Summon this from your hand. During your main phase, you can set up to 4 rescue ace quick play spells normal traps from your deck. When you read
okay.
this card, you're like, wait, up to 4?
That's a bit crazy.
It is pretty crazy, and it does more.
Ah,
If another card you control leaves the field by opponent's card effect, you can target a card on the field and destroy it.
okay.
So this guy is the guy. Like this is what you're trying to resolve turn 1. This is what you're trying to protect turn 1. You want to make sure that you get this because it just generates like.
I've never seen a card say set 4 engine spell and traps. But I guess we have to read the spell and trap cards. Like if it's giving me spellbook of judgment vibes, just format engine.
Yeah. I mean the spell traps are not crazy, but I mean they're two playable cards. Like when there's 4 of them, they add up to something.
Doesn't seem like
So
the hardest thing to get out either. It's a machine, right? So there's no restriction summoning it from deck off. Was it Turbulence? So, or not
y-
Turbulence.
yeah, you can
Impulse.
summon it off impulse, I think. Yeah, you can summon it off impulse. You can just summon it by its own effect. The way you usually summon it is with the new guy, Preventer. So Preventer it banished one Rescue Ace card instead of two Rescue Ace cards. Special summon it. If you control another Rescue Ace monster, you can target an effect monster opponent controls and book it. Quick play. And if this card is sent to the graveyard by any means, you can target one of your banished Rescue Ace monsters, except level 8. He's level 8, but all the other ones aren't. This is like 9, I think. And then you can special summon it. So what I've seen these people do is like they will get this to the grave, and then they will banish this for Preventer. They will link Preventer off, and it will like Sunlight Wolf, and it will summon the Turbulence back.
Okay,
So
that's pretty cool.
there's also a there's also a spell that just summons Turbulence. So there's a lot of ways to get to it. This card is cool because it gives you like another interrupt. It means like your reborn spell and your guys that summon can actually summon an interrupt during your opponent's turn by getting through this and booking. And it floats. So yeah. Also, all the guys are kind of big, which is like always a good thing, right? Like this guy's 3K, this guy's 2-8. It adds up quickly. And then for the spells, so these are all those quick play spells are the ones that Preventer can set. So Preventer can set them, and Airlifter can search them. Rescue. I really like how they are just caps lock, an exclamation mark. It just sounds funny. Target a rescue ace monster in your grave, or if you control Hydrant, you can target a monster in your opponent's grave instead. Special summon it. So it's Shark Cannon, but it can't banish if you have Hydrant. Or you can just special summon a guy from your grave, which is pretty good. There's no restrictions. You can link climb as you want. You can use it to, like, if opponent puts like Pancatrops in grave, you can take the Pancatrops. If they're targeting something, you can kind of use it as DD Crow by just summoning the guy to your side.
It's a bit situational. So you would have to, for a second effect to special summon, which kind of works as a DD Crow, you have to have the Ace Hydrant on the board.
Yeah.
Okay, so
But
you
I
can't just slam a Turbulence on the field and then maybe there's other card effects that support. I was just thinking of what could Turbulence do by itself.
Yeah, I mean, I think you really rely on having Hydrant for a lot of the spells. It's something that I've seen. Like they gain advantage if you don't have Hydrant, but if you have Hydrant, they do interrupt. So you kind of need to set up that and then use that to get your Hydrant. Turbulence by itself does summon a Hydrant if you need, because there's another couple. So Alert, it adds a Rescue Ace from the grave to the hand. But if you have Hydrant, you can add the Rescue Ace from your deck instead. So it's Rota if you have Hydrant, which is pretty cool because if you set Alert with Turbulence and you have Hydrant in the field, you can use it on the same turn because of the Hydrant effect.
Yeah, that's cool.
So then you can use it as a Rota to, like, maybe get an Impulse or get a Preventer.
So I guess you need both of these on the board.
Yeah. When you go through the combos, you're gonna see a lot of the times, like, you get your Hydrant, you summon the Turbulence. Then you use Turbulence to set, and then you keep playing after that. You try to use one of the spells to gain advantage, and you hold the others as interrupts.
Oh, that's cool. I must sound really stupid not seeing the combo, and then after seeing the combo, it's like super obvious.
Nah, but that's fair. That's the point of those videos. We're trying to go through because it's first impressions.
Yeah.
This is the new spell. This card is very good. It's called Emergency. You can special summon a Rescue Ace monster from your deck in defense position, and then tribute a Rescue Ace monster from your hand or field. So this is important for two reasons. I mean, one, it's emergency teleport. Two, it allows you to dodge imperms and veilers. Because, for example, if you go Turbulence effect and they chain imperm, you can chain emergency, summon a Hydrant, tribute the turbulence out of the field, it will resolve, and then you can keep playing. It also turns
really good card.
It also turns like Airlifter into Turbulence straight up, because you can just go like Airlifter, search emergency, summon Turbulence, tribute Airlifter, set 4.
Gives me
So
the same. It reads the same as like a Tournament's Grief, I guess.
yeah,
But I guess the monsters we're summoning are a bit better.
Mm.
yeah. I mean, the fact that quick play is very important because it means that if you set this with turbulence, you can also use that in your opponent's turn to summon like the interrupt guy, or you can use that to summon Hydrant if
Yeah.
you don't have
It,
Hydrant.
it, it turns it into basically just a toolbox, and you
Yeah.
could literally just summon whichever you want, and it's free, effectively.
Yeah. So the reason this card is kind of what makes it like playable right now, because if you actually think about it, all those cards are out except for Eventer and Emergency. Emergency really helps because it's super searchable and it makes like Airlifter into a starter. Yeah, that's why the deck kind of became a thing. There's a field spell which I think they play. If your opponent controls a monster, all Rescue Ace gains 500 attack defense. You can gain an additional normal summon of a Rescue Ace monster. Once per turn, you can target 4 of your Rescue Ace cards that are banished on your graveyard, shuffle them, and draw one. Alrighty, I guess. Like,
And I don't know. Like if I'm against 5 negates and I draw this card, I would be kind
yeah.
of pissed. Annoyed.
This card looks awful going second.
Mm.
But
I think it'll be like the Hercules base in Striker, where I don't think you really need it.
yeah,
Arcus.
I think that's a good comparison.
That's fair, yeah. I saw some replays of people just searching this card, and I'm like, you probably won this game without this card. You could just have searched another spell. Also, one of the traps has like a recycling effect, so I don't even know if you need this. But yeah, I think some the list do play one. Reinforce is the first normal trap. Target a rescue is monster control. It's unaffected by opponent's monster effects and gains 500 attack and defense. And it has this lumber thing. Next time it'll be destroyed by battle. It's not. The other cool effect is that it has a second grave effect that you can banish it from the grave, target a rescue spell in your grave, and set it. So you can use it. You can use both effects on the same turn. So you can use it to protect. So for example, you can protect Hydrant, and then use it to reset a spell. But again, this card, one of the things that I've seen about the deck has a bunch of cards that I would kill myself if I draw going second. Like,
What
yeah.
is Hydrant's protection effect? Because it says it can't be
Can't
targeted.
be
And it...
targeted for attacks or battle, right?
Yeah, if you have another rescue on the field.
Okay.
So,
So I guess the reinforce just stops it from being destroyed by card effects as well.
yeah, it's unaffected by monster effects, and next time it'll be destroyed by battle, it's not destroyed.
So it's not even
Okay.
that good a protection.
It's yeah, I mean,
In the sense, in the sense of protecting the Hydrant, I guess.
but
I
not
mean,
from spells, right? 'Cause, like I think
yeah.
the
So
thing
like,
you're afraid of is like getting Regeki, getting Talent
yeah,
State.
which are
I
like
guess,
actually quite viable cards at the moment.
I guess it protects the because you need to control another rescue monster to stop
Mm.
Hydrant from to protect Hydrant. So I guess kind of create you protect the one that protects Hydrant.
Yeah, well, can be something like
Right.
that. Contain. Oh yeah, all of them they don't have rescue ace in the name, but they have this line of text saying they're treated as a rescue ace. Yeah, contain. If you control a rescue ace monster, you can target a monster opponent controls. This turn it can't attack, and the effects are negated. So it's imperm with bonus text. It's Melfi of the Forest, I guess.
It is not
If you control Hydrant on the resolution, they also can't use it as Fusion, Synchro, XYZ, or Link material. So
I
it's
think
not
that's pretty good. In
That is very good.
I think it's pretty good in some formats. It depends on the format, but I think that effect alone could like be oppressive. It's like a no material. When decks might either start to play or might lock themselves. I
Yeah.
guess.
I mean, I guess like
Maybe.
Dragon Link, Scareclaw, decks that make a Link 1. Also, if you're able to like negate a guy and make it not linkable, it's basically the same as negating and destroying, but without putting it in the grave.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Like especially against Cash. Like the first thing deck I think of is Kashtira. Like they can't even use the rank 7 to overlay with. I mean the level 7 to overlay with. Like
Yeah.
makes it so much more difficult.
Yeah, this card is definitely good. This is like one of the good interrupts. And the other one is Extinguish. Great name.
Okay.
If you control Rescue Ace monster, target affect monster opponent controls, destroy it. So a pop, good. And then if you currently have Hydrant, your opponent can't activate the effects of the destroyed monster or a monster with the same original name. So it's kind of like Signet Conflict, the Cyber's counter trap.
Mm.
I mean, pops are always good, and the bone of the fact, like, I guess, for example, if you pop the Fenrir and you have Hydrant, it's cool that even if someone back of birth, they kind of have airlocked out of Fenrir effect for the whole turn. So this is pretty interesting. So
In fact, it's effectively free if you get your stuff going as well. It's very, very good.
yeah, so you can kind of see, right, that like from Turbulence, you set Extinguish Contain as interrupts. You set Emergency probably as a way to summon Preventer in your opponent's turn. And you set one spell to keep playing, like an alert or a rescue.
It's
So you
pretty
can
good.
the play does a lot when it resolves.
I think those
Uh,
4 interrupts alone can make it very tough. Like, does the deck tend to play a lot of non-engine, or is it what's like
yeah,
the composition of the deck?
it's a very, very big non-engine deck.
That's cool because I guess if you're against like all these four spell and trap cards, and then you have to deal with 2, 3, 4 non-engine cards, it can definitely be a bit tough.
Yeah.
Would like to see how like consistent it achieves end
Yeah.
board.
It doesn't do anything too oppressive, but because all the end bars are so cheap, if you have that backed up with non-engine or that backed up like a floodgate both side, it kind of becomes a problem. It gives me like Sprite vibes of like it does something. It doesn't really do that much, but it does enough to bother you. And then like they flip like 2 cards, and you're like, oh, I can play through that plus Nib Veiler. But yeah, James put a couple things that the other people play. We're kind of going to go through
Oh,
them.
cool.
The example lists. Regulus can be played because of their machines. You can make like Champion Sargas.
Can you? Does the deck like tend to slam 2 level 4s on board and then no?
Not really, but you can. Like the deck is not a great link climbing deck.
Yeah,
But
doesn't
it
look like
does
it.
some stuff. Kurikara and Dogoran and Small Road kind of exist as bridges. So I think people is playing Small Road, and then you have that cool interaction of going Small Road for Kurikara. They're all fires, so you can bridge to other fires. Ash as well. 1/1's pretty common because it summons Hydrant. And extra deck is very different. Going to go through it. So we have 3 example deck lists from the OCG that I actually haven't looked at because I didn't want to bias my opinions on what people actually play. So let's see if we're actually right on the cards we think they do. So this one got 3rd, 4th in like a Duelist Cup. So they don't play the Trap guy.
Which trap?
The counterpart to Airlifter Monitor.
If you've already if your game plan is to get to Turbulence, then I don't really see the point of the trap.
Yeah, so it's 3 Airlifter, 3 Hydrant, 3 Impulse, 2 Turbulence, 2 Preventer, 2 of who's him? A Fire Engine. 1 of the draw 2 discard 1, a Regulus, and then you do see the amount of non-engine. I mean, this is not even that heavy, I guess, but like you can see 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 in the call buys. So
Yeah.
like it's on the Salomon grade levels of non-engine.
Yeah, I can see they're really trying to minimize the engine by playing the one of all the fair interrupts. They don't you don't really want to draw these cards going second. I guess these cards don't really win you the game going second. And then they have all these like searcher cards that start off your plays.
Yeah.
So they play 2 of all the big guys except the attacker.
Yeah, 2-2-1.
Okay. So okay. Yeah.
They do play this one Regulus. There's no Sargas though. They just play a Regulus.
Is there a way to search it?
Regulus?
Not
Don't think
that
so.
I see.
Is the Proxy F Magician a summons Mud Dragon?
Yeah, so
that's the right thing?
yeah. No, you're right. So Proxy F Magician actually bought out lately. The idea is that you make proxy. You kind of end up with some monsters you don't have nothing to do with. So you make a Proxy F, and then you make Mud Dragon to protect your Turbulence. So they can't imperm or Veiler or Monitor.
I know for a fact in TCG we're going to be playing Gozen Match. Like that's the first card that comes to my mind.
That's true. It looks like a Gozen deck, right?
Like we're a Floodgate. Yeah, especially when let's say we don't get a ban list like Cash there. Like that's the Floodgate of choice that Lab's doing.
Yeah.
So I guess that's kind of scary that we expect to see. It can play Pot of Prosperity, which is cool.
It can play Shifter as well.
Yeah. Would you?
Like, I mean, you can. It's not like it does hurt you a bit, but you can still do stuff on the shifter.
Do they always like summon a link monster in their turn one? Is that one of the combos? Like, do they ever do IP
Uh,
or
they usually end on something. They usually on hit so.
okay? Because would you ever consider playing? Okay, I was thinking extravagance instead of. No, I was just thinking if there ever is a world where you could play extravagance over Pros, but I guess Pros was just better.
Could be as well. I think the extract's kind of fake. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
you do it because you have the bodies rather than you do it because you need to do it.
Oh, cool. What was this guy's side deck?
Uh, just very generic.
Just generic. Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah, a couple things here. An extra deck just Sunlight Wolf's a pretty relevant combo piece.
Did he not
Because you
play
make
Heat Soul, or I being blind?
yeah, this one doesn't actually play Hitso. Most of the TCG lists I've seen have Hitso.
Mm.
There people were doing like Sunlight Wolf, and then you make Link Rebo with the Hydrant. You add a guy back with the Sunlight Wolf, and then you make Hitso with the Sunlight Wolf and the Link Rebo. You can also do it with the Proxy Half Magician because it's the Cybers.
Mm.
So yeah, this is the one list. It's a different list. Very similar.
Ah, but they're turboing into the firewall rank 5.
Oh yeah, they're playing the Terahertz.
Is there a link client play, or do you think it's just they have the extra deck space for it, and if it ever comes up with maybe something like Heater, they're just like, sure, why not? As like
I assume like you just do it turn one if you can. It's weird because they're not playing
how did they link
Unscroll
climb?
Talker. I guess it's
Like
actually odd, right?
I think they might
I
just
don't
use
know how
it as
they
a
link
second
climb.
option. Maybe it's a go second, or maybe as just like mid game. I guess you have cards like Heater that something good to slam into.
Could be. There's a lot of extra commitment. But I guess it does give the deck an Omni negate. This is something the deck doesn't have, right? We read with all the cards. They have no way technically to protect in engine from storms, from evenlies, from talents. So in theory, if you could make this like a more turn one thing, would also kind of help.
I do like the small worlds because I think now looking more at the deck, I can imagine there might be a missing piece, or like maybe the deck can revolve around 2 card combos where if you get interrupt, maybe the next best card you want is something else. So I guess the small world might be able to like.
Yeah. Also, it bridges very well like in deck because you can trade any one of the guys to any other of the other guys by just going through Ash.
Yeah,
So you don't even have to do too much brain power.
I guess it's very hard to talk about the deck right now when I haven't seen any combos. I could just
Yeah.
I ain't got a clue. Okay.
This doesn't have a side deck. This doesn't have a side deck as well, but again, very similar. You see, like people in the OCG narrow like this should be the engine. I wonder what the TCG gonna do with it. I do agree with the guess that we're going to be cutting field spell like a month.
Flipping floodgates.
Mm.
There's gonna be golden matches in the list.
This
and
deck
there's-
definitely looks like a floodgate list. Like, yeah.
You set 4 with the guy, and then you set golden match. The set 5 combo. Oh yeah, this one is hit. So, let's go through the replays James made us. Shout out to James. Oh, this has no extra deck, so I assume.
Oh, cool. So this is just off one guy. That's
Yeah,
cool.
so this is just out of Airlifter. Oh, you can also play 4 copies of this because it's a water. So I think most lists had Rota. We forgot.
Yeah,
You
it
can play
is.
Durandal too. Oh wait, no, that
Yeah.
only works 1 second, I guess. My bad.
Yeah, but Rota at least probably is pretty standard.
But did these
So,
actually do anything in the hand after you've like committed a monster to board?
No, so you can do the. I think the Durandal probably doesn't work. But
Yeah,
Rota does.
my bad.
Okay, so emergency summon Hydrant, not this. And then Hydrant searches Turbulence. Oh, okay, you can do that as well.
So it's just right in front of us. It was too easy.
Yeah, of course, because then like this way you have the Hydrant. So you banish those
Yeah.
2, and then you get your set 4. So I assume he's setting the 3 traps and alert. And then now we can use alert because we have Hydrant. And we search for Preventer. And then you banish our alert, summon Preventer.
That's
So
cool.
That's
of one
very cool.
card, we end on these 2 on the field. This is a pop if our opponent like takes a card away from our field. This is a Book of Moon. You have the Extinguish popping and locking that monster. You have Contain, negating and being no material, and you have Reinforce existing.
Enough. I think shift. How would this deck play shifter if this is their combo? Or
I think I saw one OCG list playing shifter, but it could be a case of just being like you get
The
hurt
one
of
guy.
it more than I get hurt by it.
yeah.
I don't think the thing that's gonna be like I don't think like a main deck shifter. I don't think you can shifter then combo kind of.
Definitely an amazing end board. It just depends if
Mm.
people are like respecting it. You
You
know,
got
if
4
they're
cards in hand as well, right? Like,
Yeah,
that's
this is all
very
of one
good.
card.
nice.
The one thing is that it does like have a lot of counters because it doesn't do omnis. There's a
Yeah.
lot of blowouts like the lightning storms, the back row out is something that Zach really struggles with. From what I've heard from people, the main concerns are back row blowouts and things that just negate turbulence because your whole turn lives and dies by this card resolving.
Yeah,
That's why
yeah.
there's such a big focus on going like proxy F magician and making mud dragon and making sure that doesn't get imperm. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's look this one. So this is any rescue ace plus emergency or hydrant. So just hydrant pitch, and you go hydrant effect. Oh, I don't think we're gonna do the same thing. You just kind of trigger this, set the same amount of cards, and you go alert. Add preventer, summon preventer. So it seems to do this like somewhat consistently.
Mm.
Like you kind of just want to get to the same thing, which is resolving this. One thing that you can do here is that instead of ending on this, you can go these two into Sunlight Wolf, this one into Link Rebo, add the preventer back, and then the preventer when the preventer goes to grave, it would summon a guy back, whatever we ban would discard it for emergency. So would summon this fire attacker back or fire engine if that was the one we discarded.
Okay.
And then you add this preventer back to your hand. You make the Sunlight Wolf and the Link Rebo into Hitso, and then you draw one, and then you draw another one on opponent's turn, and you have the traps.
But like, did you not get rid of the hydrant there?
Yeah, so you don't get the hydrant. So I think the idea is that you can do
Ah.
that if you have like, for example, an extra emergency.
Okay, fair enough.
Another thing that I've seen people do is that instead of them setting the shitty one, this one, they set another emergency,
Okay.
and then you use this emergency to get your hydrant during their turn.
Oh, fair enough. And then hydrant, does hydrant trigger to search?
No, it's main phase only.
Fair enough. I see that.
But yeah, that's the heat soul line. But yeah, I mean, first read, the cards don't read bad. They do a lot of small things. I think it's definitely going to be at least tried in the TCG.
Yeah.
Curious to see how much success it has. I guess if it's really format dependent, it depends if the interrupts line up well, and if it's a format that benefits decks that play a lot on non-engine rather than gas decks.
I can imagine a lot of people saying this deck could be like absurdly broken because of turbulence, but I think it does have quite a few weaknesses, which doesn't make it too oppressive. It looks. I think the cards are actually well designed, but I could just be wrong, and someone just comes out with like a worst.
Yeah,
Wow.
one thing is that the OCG has been kept very standard with it. Like they haven't done anything too crazy.
Yes.
So I'm curious to see if the DCG is going to actually change how it gets played. Be it
Exactly
by
like
mixing, be it with the type of non-engine you play.
Maxi looks amazing in this deck, so I guess maybe that is a massive factor for why it's doing so well. Because I guess it just works so well with Maxi. Like the end board, the best end boards are only special summoning twice, third time.
Yeah, well, like really, you can get max seed. Like, okay, you got 2 draws, but I still set up all my stuff. And this looks like the end board that if you make this plus max seed, it's also super strong.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, yeah, it looks really a deck which really can thrive in the Maxi format. It might have a big impact in Master Rule, I guess. Then, no, it's not relevant, but
yeah, let's see how it goes. I think it's important to read. It's definitely gonna be tried. So yeah, I think that's mainly it for us today. I still have 2 more Dune videos that are going to be coming out through the week, so please keep an eye out posted for those. And thanks Marcus and Sam for being here and helping. And give us a comment. Let us know what you think of videos like this. Do you like them split in different ways? Do you like them if they're all together? Different things you want us to cover in the future. And yeah, see you next time.